Hello, this is Allie with the Perception Trainers, author of The Perception Diet, and today I want to talk to you about why dissatisfaction is the best thing for your life path and how you can use it to your advantage. So, dissatisfaction, that feeling of your life not being how you want it to be, something not being how you want it to be, or just being really uncomfortable in your current life, in your current situation, in what is currently happening for you. This is a very common state for people to be in. And the first thing that I want you to understand about dissatisfaction is that it's not something that's going to have to be a part of your life forever, okay? So when you learn to actually start using dissatisfaction in the way that I'm going to teach you in this video, you will actually progress to a point where you no longer need dissatisfaction as a catalyst for change in your life. Because this is what dissatisfaction is really trying to get you to do, okay? When you are dissatisfied, you can think of it like your soul or your heart or your higher self or whatever you want to call it, calling you to step out of the little box that is your life, to expand a little bit more, to become more of who you are. Okay, so dissatisfaction is born when you have outgrown your life and when your soul or your spirit or your higher self or your heart is calling you, is asking you, is saying to you, okay, in order to become who we came here to become, in order to do what we came here to do, in order to live the life that is going to satisfy me, it is time to expand. Okay? It is time to step outside what we know. It is time to step outside what we're doing. It is time to step outside our boundaries and outside of our box and to expand a little bit. Okay? So, understanding that your soul, your spirit, your heart is going to be calling you to expand and grow and change and learn and do all these different things all the time. Okay? But the problem is that most of us are just so afraid to step outside of our box. We're so afraid of what might happen when we take a chance or take a risk or try something new or do something different that we stay in our lives. We stay in our box. We stay in the life that we're currently living. We stay in what we know. We stay in what is familiar. We stay in what is comfortable. And the longer we do that, okay, the more dissatisfied we're going to become, because that's not what life is about. We're not here to just stay in our little box, okay? And to understand that the deeper reason why life or you, your soul or your heart or whatever calls you to step outside of your box is because it's calling you to know yourself better. It's calling you to know yourself deeper. Every single time you step out of your comfort zone, you learn something about yourself. And you come to have this deeper, richer, more amazing understanding of who you are. And with that, you can live a life that is far more satisfying for you, okay? So this practice of self-knowledge, this call to know yourself, is not just so that you can sit there and say that you're realized. It's not so that you can sit there and say, hey, I know who I am. It's really about you learning all of these things about yourself, you understanding all these things about yourself. Number one, to release a whole bunch of pain that we all have about ourselves when we think of ourselves in a way that's not actually true. And two, so that you can become the person that you want to become, so you can live the life you want to live. And you may not even know what that looks like right now, and that's okay. But you will know by how it feels. Okay? You won't be dissatisfied, right? And then, as I said, as you get practice with learning to use your dissatisfaction to your advantage, learning to use your dissatisfaction to carry you forward, to expand you, to take the next step, to become more of who you are, to discover more of who you are, eventually you don't need dissatisfaction anymore as a catalyst to change. Eventually you get to a place where you operate more from joy, right? So just like kind of what we were talking about in the change videos, is that instead of moving away from what you don't want, so trying to get away from your dissatisfaction, trying to get away from this life that doesn't align with you, trying to get away from these things that you don't like, you start to move towards what you want, right? You start to get a clearer and clearer and clearer picture of who you are, and you get a clearer and clearer and clearer idea that every single time you stepped out of your boundaries, nothing terrible happened, that it actually was amazing, and life is an adventure, and maybe things are a little bit more safe and a little bit more playful, and that stepping outside of your boundaries isn't so dangerous. And then you start to just move from this place of oh, that's exciting, oh, that's fun, oh, that sounds really good, that sounds like something I want to do, right? So you're not so much moving from, this sucks, I need to try and get away from this. You then start to move from, this is awesome, that looks even better, right? And again, this is not about creating a life where you're constantly feeling like you got to do stuff, right? It's not about, constantly thinking you're not good enough, or constantly thinking you're not enough, or constantly thinking life isn't good enough, or chasing the next exciting thing, okay? When you come to this place where you no longer need dissatisfaction as a tool for moving forward, you're not moving forward out of lack, okay? You're not moving forward out of boredom or excitement, or get away from this thing that's boring me, or get away from this thing that I don't like, or I need the next thing, I need the next thing, I need the next thing, okay? You start to move from just, okay, I am peaceful and I am happy where I'm at. I am fully and completely enjoying this moment. I am fully and completely accepting and approving of this. And I know that my journey is not over till I'm dead, okay? I'm not here to arrive and then stop, right? That this process of learning and growing and changing becomes way more joyful, way less urgent, okay? It's not urgent. It's not like really serious and like frantic, right? It's more, okay, this next thing, this next thing, this next thing. But I know myself. I know that this feels good. I know that this feels like alignment. I know that this feels like the next step on my path. But it's not because I'm not satisfied with where I am. It's not because if I were to stay here that I would be completely uncomfortable and I would hate every minute of it, right? It's this progression, right? So we work with dissatisfaction. We work with where we are. We work with, okay, I hate this. I don't like this. I don't want this. And we start to use that, right? We start to love that. We start to use that as a tool to move us more towards who we are, more towards what we want, more towards the core of our onion. And then when we've reached that core, we understand who we are, we see who we are. We start to move from joy. We start to move from excitement. We start to move from, okay, this is the next step on my path. It's not an emergency. It's not frantic. It's not imperative that I do this, otherwise I'm going to be so miserable and I hate my life, right? It's just, I love myself, I love my life, this is the next thing for me, all right? So it's a progression. And so what most people are doing with their satisfaction in our society is they're taking it and they're being like, I need to quit my job. I need to move out of the country. I need to leave my partner. I need to go shopping. I need a better car. I need a better wardrobe. I need a better house. I need a better whatever, bigger TV, maybe a better vacation. I need a prettier partner. I need more partners. I need less partners. I need to be alone. I need to be with these people. And it's like, most of us, what we're doing when we have this dissatisfaction is we're entering into a huge state of resistance, right? And we don't even realize that we're doing it, right? We feel this dissatisfaction with our life. And instead of drawing in, instead of saying, okay, this is a dissatisfaction that I have created as a way of pulling myself forward, it's kind of like a last resort. So I've lost the ability to move from my center place. I've lost the ability to know that this is the next right step for me and that I am in this state of peace knowing that I am enough and I have enough and I am enough and I can just follow my path. We've lost sight of that so much that now dissatisfaction is like the emergency alarm bell. It's like, get moving, stop doing this. This isn't right. Move towards what is right for you. Move towards your bright life. And because most of us are so disconnected from ourselves, and because most of us are so disconnected from our hearts, and because most of us don't trust ourselves, right? We really believe that if we are to go inside and do what we want to do, that we are going to mess up our life, that we're going to do something terrible, that we're going to be these terrible people who do these terrible things. And this dissatisfaction comes up, and then so instead of us going into that dissatisfaction and saying, okay, dissatisfaction, what are you here to show me? What are you here to teach me? How can you help me move towards understanding myself better so I can live a life that's more in alignment with who I am? We're like, ooh, I gotta get away from this satisfaction. I gotta, like I say, get a different partner. I gotta get a car. I gotta get more money. I gotta quit my job. I gotta go backpack across Thailand. I gotta run away. I gotta get away, right? And all that's doing is creating more resistance. It's helping you to run farther from who you are, to run farther from your center, to add another layer to the onion rather than to get away, or rather than to remove a layer of the onion. You move farther from yourself, and then you're constantly on this chase for the next best thing. Okay? You're constantly on this like really urgent, really emergent, like, oh my gosh, I need the next thing, I need the next thing, I need the next thing, I can never be satisfied, I'm always uncomfortable, I don't like this, this isn't enough, it's not enough, it's not enough. And that's a very painful place to be, okay? And most people live their entire life like that, right? Like they get the partner, and then once they have the partner, they gotta get the job, and then once they get the job, they gotta get the better job, and then once they get the better job, they gotta get to retirement, and then once they get to retirement, they gotta do this and this and this, and then they're miserable, and then they have to go back to work, and it's like, this is not necessary, okay? We don't have to live this life. We don't have to live this constant hungry ghost life where we're constantly on the prowl for the next thing to distract us and make us feel better from our levels of dissatisfaction, okay? It's that dissatisfaction is there to lead you inside, okay? So it's not about, so yes, I said it is calling you to step outside your comfort zone. It's calling you to make some changes, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you leave your partner. That doesn't necessarily mean you quit your job. That doesn't necessarily mean you go to a different country, because you do those things without doing the inner work, and everywhere you go, there you are, okay? The next partner, it will be the same thing. The next job, it'll be the same thing. The next country, it'll be the same thing. You are just going to be there with your same levels of disconnection from yourself, and it's going to be equally as painful as it was where you were, right? So this is why it's not about going out first to try and change things, all right? When you are dissatisfied, that's a call to go inside. That's a call to go into your heart, into yourself, into your center, and to ask yourself, okay, what really needs to happen here? What really needs to shift? What really needs to change? And a lot of the time, it's your mindset. A lot of the time, it's your perception. A lot of the times, it's how you approach life that needs to change. It's not get rid of your partner. It's how can I relate to my partner in a different way, through relating to myself in a different way. It's not how can I get rid of my job and get a better job. It's how can I relate to my job in a different way. How can I gather everything that this job is trying to teach me so that when I am ready to move on to the next job, I'm ready. I'm not going to go to the next job that's the exact same as the old job, right? Because again, life is not going to let you graduate from where you are right now until you've gotten everything out of it. And dissatisfaction is teaching you how to slow down, go inside, and figure out how to really milk the situation that you're in, how to really milk what's going on with you, so that you have the power and the knowledge and the wisdom to move on to the next phase of your life, okay? Which is going to bring you a deeper level of satisfaction. So in my next video, because we totally ran out of time in this one, I'm going to lead you through a meditation to help you with dissatisfaction, okay? I'm going to lead you through a meditation that can help you go inside and figure out what your dissatisfaction is trying to tell you, because I know that this talk sounds all pretty and the theory sounds good, but if you don't have actual tools for how to go inside and how to figure out what your dissatisfaction is telling you, it's not really worth anything, okay? So I want you to just sit with this, think about this stuff, consider what I've said, and then in the next video, I will lead you through a meditation that will help you to discern what your dissatisfaction is trying to tell you, and I will help you to actually be able to move forward towards the life you want rather than to try and just escape your dissatisfaction, okay? So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, video requests, leave them down below. I love hearing from you. Like, subscribe, find me on Facebook, Perception Trainers, and Instagram, Urban Fruit Bat, and of course send me emails, whatever. You can find me at theperceptiontrainers@gmail.com. And yeah, I will see you in the next video.